Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why it switched back to my headset, and now I got the mic working. So sorry about that, folks. Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. I've got a few headlines today. We all heard the big news on Friday was going to be some more tariffs coming out of Trump. So we'll kind of have to dive into that news article and see what's going on with that one. I do have a few other articles. We might be seeing the death of Solana, so we'll dive into that one. And then I got one other news article if I got the time for it. Ada Ace saying, I'm having issues with my mic too. Yeah, so I just redid NVIDIA broadcast. They released an update and it completely just did everything on my computer as if it was brand new. And then it swapped around a bunch of my settings. I thought it had it all figured out this weekend when I did that. I also installed some new PC parts and I was like, oh, I'm good to go for Monday. Apparently I wasn't, because it switched back to my headset. So I'm glad I got that all figured out. I'm glad I noticed it way earlier before you guys had said something, because I would have kept going and not noticed at all until I had read chat. So good morning to you all. Let's dive on in and get you prepped for some success today. The stock market is closed today, so we just will be going over the close on Friday. We've got Apple sitting up at 1.27%. We've got NVIDIA up at 2.63%. Got Berkshire sitting down in that neutral range, down 0.19. We've got Amazon seeing a bit of some sell-off, down 0.73. We've got Eli Lilly is sitting down at 3.16. We've got ExxonMobil sitting up 0.1. We've got Tesla sitting in that neutral range for a change, down 0.03. We've got P&G getting hit hard, down a 4.75. Looks like some of that tariff news might be impacting that price there. Got Microsoft sitting down 0.51, Google sitting down 0.54, and Meta sitting up 1.11. All day yesterday, I tried to make 60-second commercials. OMF. Is that what the issue is? Thanks. We'll look into it, says Ada Ace. Yeah, not a problem. I had the same issue. That's why I put off updating the video broadcast for like a week and a half, because I knew I was going to have some problems after it. If y'all haven't followed Ada Ace, I'm going to drop his channel in the chat. Go ahead and give him a follow. He does a lot of ADA specific knowledge, and that's something I'm going to be getting into in the bear market. I'm just a little too busy to do all that right now, but that man is a wizard at ADA. All right, I got that crypto side of things pulled up. We're looking pretty neutral so far. We do have a few outliers to the negative. We got BNB sitting we've got Bitcoin sitting in that neutral range, up 0.02. Ethereum up at 3.62, which we've talked about here on the Piper Academy. There was a chance for an Ethereum breakout. We've got XRP sitting down at 1.89. Surpassed that Tether market cap back to the top side. We got BNB sitting up 0.1, surpassed that Solana market cap, and Solana sitting down at 2.03. We got Dogecoin sitting down 0.69, Cardano up 4.33, Tron sitting up 1.9. Avalanche sitting up 2.46. Got Stellar Lumen sitting in that neutral range down 0.26. We got SWI sitting up a 0.91. TON sitting up a 1.12. We got Shiba sitting up at 2.6. And we got Litecoin seeing a bit of some sell off after some upside movement down 1.06. Let's hop over to that economic calendar for this week. Let me get that switched over to this week. All right. We don't have any really heavy data coming out of the U.S. as, it is a federal holiday. We've got Fed Harker speaking, Fed Bowman speaking, Fed Waller speaking, and then later in the day, we do get the Bank of Japan Takata speech, which will be a nice look at the Japanese market and seeing if they're actually going to be sticking on that pausing of rates that Uday talked about last week. I'll definitely be keeping my eye on that. The dollar has been looking a little bit stronger against the yen, which brings some positive if they do kind of shift their position and they're looking more at hiking again. That will bring some strength into the yen and increase that chance of a carry trade. We do have the rest of the week looking like we will have some decent data coming out that could move some markets. The New York State Manufacturing Index looking to increase a bit. It was down quite heavily, and that forecast is looking a lot nicer in the positive direction. We also have a few more Fed chairs speaking, and the balance of trade coming out of Japan for tomorrow that can move markets in that Asian time frame. A little bit later in that day, we will be getting inflation rates out of the UK. I've been watching them. They are ahead of us in our rate cutting cycle, and their inflation started to tick up a while ago, and it looks like they are trying to head things back in the right direction. They did do a massive cut recently, just like Mexico did. They did a massive cut as well. So looking to kind of see what might be in our future in these rate cutting cycles. It looks like we will hold for quite a while. All of the Fed chairs are kind of in agreement on that. Wednesday, we will be getting building permits, prelim, and housing starts. That will be a big market mover as well. Looking like a slow up on both of those though. So definitely something to keep your eye on. And we will be getting the FOMC minutes as well. That will be the biggest market mover for the week. I will leave the rest of the week's data for later in the week. All right, let's hop over to those fear and greeds. We've got that stock market sitting in fear still, down 2 points at 44. We do have crypto sitting at that neutral range, down 3 points, as we've been continuing this sideways movement. Definitely some more consolidation could be heading our way. Waiting for a move in either direction. We do have liquidity to both sides of us. Got Ada Ace saying Snake Whale and Lux, they had issues, but because of how it's set up, it didn't die. So interesting to me. I'm assuming you're talking about some meme-fi. Yep, I got some meme-fi stuff to talk about. Need to get y'all on. I'm not reading that one. Relax, it's a blue rooster on Cardano. All right, might have to tune into that one. I know the memes have been killing Solana, and that's what that article is all about there. We do have some liquidity sitting to the bottom side of us right now. That's going to be that 95-242 range. I do have that marked out. I've had it marked out for quite a while as an area I want to see us turn into some support. If you zoom this on out to that 3-day, you can kind of see we do still have that liquidity sitting to the bottom side of us, but the top side's looking pretty light. definitely have a bit of a hot spot around that 98,500 range. Zoom that on out to the weekly, starting to look like more topside liquidity is going to be the move to make. We definitely have some sitting at that 98,500 range, going all the way up to that 99,500 range. A lot of liquidity to the top side, which could pull us back up to the top side of the range, and that's where we would need to look to turn some of these key areas I've talked about into some support to really blast back up to those areas that we haven't been at in quite a while. At 103,000 is going to be that next little area I would look at if we can turn some of these areas into some support. If you look at this 2 week, that 103 is no longer that hot spot of liquidity. We've got 98,800 looking pretty hot, all the way up to about 99,500. We've got a bit of a gap, and then starting again at 100,000, and then a bit of a gap again, and starting out at 108. We do have some liquidity residing to the bottom side of us, sitting at 93,700, all the way down to 93,500 as well. That monthly is looking quite nice for some topside moves. We definitely have a bit of liquidity residing right about that 93,500, which would be a nice little bottom side of the range to go grab before we really try to make us our way back up to the top side where a bunch of liquidity is residing. It is a giant range starting at 107,300 and goes all the way up to that about 110,000 range. So definitely a nice hotspot on that monthly to the top side now. So that's the next area I'd really be looking at once we confirm some areas of support. Let's say hello to the chat this morning. I see y'all are talking a bit about some memes. Let's see. We've got Jay Violet in the chat. We got Knox Bill in here. We got Kyle Fields and Jeffrey Stone Cipher. Good morning to you. We got All Set in here. We got Crypto Billy. Good morning, good morning. If y'all haven't checked out his morning motivational video, drop the link up at the top of the chat. We got, let's see, scroll down, and maybe a Band-Aid in the chat as well. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day so far. Ooh. There we go. Let me get that emoji for you. All right. Let's hop into this Bitcoin chart. I've got that 4 hour pulled up, and as I was hoping to see, we did not turn this area into some support when we got that downside move. I was looking to kind of hold that 96,400 range, and that we lost very quickly this morning. We have been bumping up against it, trying to create some momentum to break through. That 4 hour on the prime oscillator does have a reversal signal showing. We're waiting for some money flow to kind of roll over from those shorter term time frames into this higher term time frame though, before we can really get that pushback to the upside. You got your MACD needing a little bit more room to run sideways here before it gets that curve back to the top side. Definitely looking for that money flow to kind of come in and rescue us. You have a bit of an area to the bottom side, which we could end up hitting if we continue to lose this 96,400 range, which is going to be that golden pocket sitting right below us at about 95,650. You do have a strong area right below that, and that's that 95,335 that I'd also be looking at if we reject off of this a little too many times and kind of lose some of that money flow. Definitely a strong area of support down here at that golden pocket, and right underneath it there is a lot of buying pressure in that range. If you zoom on in to that hourly, you can kind of see that MACD has already crossed. Your prime oscillator is looking nice and green here, but your money flow is still quite ugly. It is some selling pressure, which is looking to increase as well. If you look right here, it is increasing, moving back down, trying to get to that heavy selling range before we really try to drag this a little bit further down, grab some of that bottom side liquidity if we keep rejecting off of that 96,418. If you zoom this on in to that 15-minute, kind of take a look at what that morning is bringing our way. This is where I'd be looking at maybe some downside. Really depends on that money flow there. We are moving quite sideways as this MACD has heated up quite a lot, looking to approach that zero line here as we're making another push towards that 96,418. Prime oscillator is light red, got a lot of divergences stacked up here, waiting for those to kind of play out, but that money flow is the real problem here. It is nice and red and has been red this entire weekend as we've kind of just been moving sideways here. Definitely looking for that to kind of switch before we really get those moves back to the top side. If you can have some strong money flow coming in, which I wouldn't really look at for today, especially with the markets being closed, we could get that pushback up to that 96,000 and almost 97. It's about 96,800 there, where we see that 50% fib line on our retracement. That'd be that top side I'd really look for. We do have a bit of a fair value gap here, which might come to play if we do get that pushback to the top side. That's going to be a nice little range here, running all the way to about that support line I was looking to hold. You do have that midline coming in to call at 96,600, which would be an area of resistance if we come up above that 96,418. See Crypto Billy say Jesse's finally sleeping. It's about time. That man's always awake. I always see him in the chat nice and early. But I did see he subscribed to my channel, my personal channel, this morning. So I know he was awake. I don't know if he just went back to sleep or maybe he's busy at work. We've got maybe a Band-Aid saying hola chat, just stopping in to say good morning, off to Gainesville for a certification test. So have fun all listen in while I drive. Well, drive safe, maybe a Band-Aid, and good luck with that certification test. I hope that goes well for you. All right, let's dive into some of these news articles. I did have the Trump one that I wanted to dive into first because that was the big mover for Friday. It came out late and I didn't really get a chance to talk about it. So Trump details his reciprocal tariffs plan, asks foreign countries to treat us fairly. Let's zoom this on in so you can kind of read along if you want to. President Donald Trump wrote a lengthy Truth Social post about his trade policy overhaul on Saturday, emphasizing his plans to change reciprocal tariffs to countries that the U.S. does business with. In a post Saturday afternoon, Trump explained how his reciprocal tariffs will work in a great amount of detail. In recent weeks, he announced 25% tariffs on all aluminum and steel imports into the U.S., plus 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico, and a 10% tariff on imports from China. His recent move to implement reciprocal tariffs was decided for purposes of fairness, Trump wrote. For purposes of this United States policy, we will consider countries that use VAT, value-added tax systems, which is far more punitive than a tariff, to be similar to that of a tariff, Trump wrote. Sending merchandise, products, or anything by any other name through another country for purposes of unfairly harming America will not be accepted. Most countries use a VAT system, including the United Kingdom, China, and Mexico. Trump added that he will make provisions for subsidies provided by countries in order to take economic advantage of the United States. Likewise, provisions will be made for non-monetary tariffs and trade barriers that some countries change in order to keep our product out of their domain, or if they do not let the U.S. businesses operate. The president added, we will be able to accurately determine the cost of these non-monetary trade barriers. It is fair to all. No other country can complain, and in some cases, if a country feels that the United States would be getting too high a tariff, all they have to do is reduce or terminate their tariff against us. There is no tariff if you manufacture or build your product in the United States. Trump concluded his post by claiming that the U.S. has been treated unfairly by other countries, both friend and foe. This system will immediately bring fairness and prosperity back into the previously complex and unfair system of trade, the Republican continued. America has helped many countries throughout the years at great financial cost. It is now time that these countries remember this and treat us fairly, a level playing field for American workers. I have instructed my Secretary of State, Secretary of Commerce, and Secretary of Treasury and the United States Trade Representative to do all the work necessary to deliver reciprocity to our system of trade. Earlier this week, Trump promised that the U.S. will be flooded with jobs as foreign trading partners are incentivized to move their businesses to American soil, despite his tariffs being fiercely criticized in recent weeks. This is something I will continue to keep my eye on, and the rest of the market will too, especially as Trump tries to bring more of these jobs back to America. He's doing it in a very stick-like method. He is trying to counteract some of the ways that businesses do practice, where, my country has a bit of a tariff against it or a trade barrier, so we're going to move our product to a different country, and then we're going to roundabout it to the United States. This is something that he wants to nix. He also wants to kind of raise more money for the U.S. government, kind of handle some of the deficit that we've been seeing, which has been continuing to grow at an unprecedented rate, especially when we are not in a recession, we're not in a depression, we're not at war. This is something that needs to be handled. We are approaching 7% of the GDP with our deficit, and that is unprecedented. We haven't seen anything like that since the Depression, and it's something that needs to get handled sooner than later. And a lot of his administration is in agreement with that. One way to do that is to also bring back more jobs in America, have us manufacture at a higher rate than we've been in years. We've been losing manufacturing at an overwhelming and alarming rate. So kind of bring in some of that back. If you make it more expensive for these companies to manufacture their goods elsewhere and then bring them into the U.S., and it ends up being cheaper to just make it in America, hire Americans to do it with better work conditions, higher rates of manufacturing. That's where a lot of countries fled America when we had more of these more things that we required them to do, like hey, you can't have your workers working 14 plus hours and then them not get benefits, or they don't get time off, or the manufacturing practices are very unsafe. A lot of companies fled, and then they manufactured for pennies on the dollar, paying people not what they're worth, and the only people that benefited was the company. And Trump wants to kind of counteract some of that and make America first on it. So definitely going to be keeping my eye on this going forward, just like the rest of the world is. I see Al Jr. in the chat. Good morning to you. We got top analyst at Solana is facing top analyst claims Solana is facing hate after tarnishing its reputation. This is a big article that I'm kind of happy to see. It's finally coming to call for Solana. Don Alt, a prominent pseudonymous cryptocurrency pundit with more than 650,000 followers, believes that Solana has gone from beloved to hated. quickly after its reputation has been tarnished. Sol went from beloved to hated quickly only because everyone on the chain lost all their money to scams, he said. As noted by Don Alt, there are many voices who had some concerns about a scam culture on the chain during the early stages of its development. However, these concerns were largely ignored by the community due to the fact that they helped inflate numbers, thus making the ecosystem more prominent. In fact, the analyst argues that the leadership behind Sol somehow encouraged it to become the scam chain. This sets it apart from arch-rival Ethereum since co-founder Vitalik Buterin has actively called out fraudulent behavior. Solana's meme coin factory Pump Fund became one of the biggest cryptocurrency stores in 2024, generating countless crypto tokens and gaining a lot of notoriety. The Financial Conduct Authority, FCA, the UK's financial regulatory body, ended up blocking the website in December after warning that the meme coin factory was not allowed to operate inside the country. Earlier this month, Don Alt opined that pump fund craze drained the early bull market alt season. I'll always maintain the idea that pump fund slash Sol drained the early bull market alt season and it went into the pockets of scammers and grifters. Hopefully we get another chance and don't make the same mistake, he wrote on X. And this is something I've talked about quite a bit. How does someone join your personal channel, BC? Well, I can drop that link in the chat a little bit later. I do have my own YouTube channel. Let me get that pulled up. Let's see. Let me get over to my page. Let's hop over to it real quick. And there we go. I don't have a lot of videos out just yet. I have been working at Piper to raise my brand awareness, and I've been doing some stuff in the background to kind of get my stuff going, create some more content, do some more collaborations, which I will be doing with Crypto Coin Mindset here this week. We've got some stuff going in the background, so that's something I've been working on. The Piper Academy has definitely helped a lot with that. I do have a bit out there on my channel so far, but I will be doing more on my channel here going in the future. Kind of more the nerdy side of things. I've got a few things on TradingView that I've been doing with automating it, especially with Blowfin. Makes that very easy. If you haven't checked out Blowfin, we got a link in the description. Get some money back on that. But I've been working on that, and I will be releasing some videos on that here coming soon. I've got a few trade strategies that I've been working on fine-tuning, so watch for those videos in the future. The fundamentals behind Sol has always been off, in my humble opinion, says Ada Ace, and that's something I've talked about quite a bit. I like that I do have the voice to be able to do that now. Me and LBC used to bash on Sol a lot here on Good Morning Crypto before he switched over to his Markets After Dark, but I know we've talked about doing a Sol video. I think now might be the time, especially with how Solana has been dropping off in market cap quite heavily. Used to be number 3. It has now dropped all the way to number 5. It's about to get surpassed by USDC. USDC is nipping on its heels, and it's kind of nice to see a chain where it is noted in the mainstream news as that, hey, this is where 12-year-olds have stolen grandma's money. There's videos of people that they post online of, oh, I made this meme coin and watch me rug all these people. And that's ugly. Nobody wants to see that. And it looks like Solana is finally paying the price for making it very easy and cheap to make cryptocurrencies, and it's kind of that positive news is actually better for the space instead of, oh, well, news is news and it brings eyes. Well, news is news and it brings eyes, but does it bring eyes that stay? Does it bring eyes that really have something positive for the space? And it looks like the answer is that ethical business practices is the way to go. As most of us here at Piper Academy know, the ethical side of things will stick around a whole lot longer. And that's why Solana will struggle quite a bit going further until they kind of make some changes there. So definitely something I'm happy to see. I love the crypto space, but I like a clean crypto space, and it's kind of sad that crypto hasn't been able to do that themselves, and they've had to have people like Gary Gensler step in, or the UK completely banning pump fun from their country. So you can still get around it with VPNs, but it kind of makes it where it makes it a little bit harder for your average person to just jump in and be like, oh, I heard about this such and such coin. It's a 50 million market cap, and I'm going to ride it out to 100 million. But like the people that made it know that that's going to be a cash out target. So 750 million, they rug everyone. This is something that needs to happen. Clean up the space, whether forced or the crypto community does it themselves. Something I really want to see. The turtle always wins the race, says Ada Ace. Most definitely. And that's something we've kind of seen over and over. Not just in crypto, but in markets in general. The businesses that have good practices, move slow, make sure that they do things the right way, normally stick around a whole lot longer. And Solana definitely has not been doing that. So they like to move fast and break things. You see that benefit sometimes, like Meta moved very fast and broke a lot of things, but Meta was a first. Solana was not first in anything. Solana was just trying to overtake Ethereum, and they have not managed to do that. And with the name that they've made for themselves, I believe they will struggle to do that. I do have one other article I was going to dive into. If y'all have any oh, it seems like to just mention Cardano. Yeah, I mean that's that big battle. Cardano's a great project. I'm not invested in it. There's a lot that goes on in it. For me, I just didn't see it as my big money maker this cycle. I still love Cardano though. It is a great project. But if anyone has any alt requests they'd like me to take a look at, go ahead, throw those in the chat, and I will dive into those after I look at some TradFi things and then read this news article. So, Goldman Sachs holds $1,832,000,000 and $15,000 worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange traded funds, SEC's filing. The financial services giant Goldman Sachs is reportedly holding nearly $2 billion worth of shares in Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange traded funds. According to a new filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, Goldman Sachs holds nearly $1.63 billion worth of Bitcoin ETFs and $196.3 million worth of Ethereum ETFs, the bulk of the shares coming from BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust. The data unveils that the banking firm owns 24,077,861 shares of IBIT worth more than $133 billion and 353 million shares of Fidelity Wise Origins Bitcoin's FBTC worth over 300 million and 49,183 shares of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust worth more than 3.7 million. In terms of Ethereum, the data shows that Goldman Sachs owns over 1 million shares of the Fidelity Ethereum Fund, worth over 191 million, as well as 200,000 shares of the Grayscale Ethereum Mini Trust ETF, worth more than 5.1 million. Bitcoin and Ethereum based products, which allow investors to expose themselves to the top 2 digital assets by market cap without actually physically purchasing them, were approved by the SEC in 2024. In December, Goldman Sachs chief executive David Solomon said that regulations need to change before the bank considers holding and trading digital assets. As stated by Solomon at the moment, as a regulated banking institution, we are not allowed to own a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin as a principal. We give our clients advice around a variety of these technologies, and these issues will continue to do that. But for the moment, our ability to act in these markets is extremely limited from a regulatory perspective. And going forward, this is something I'll be keeping my eye on. JP Morgan also pushes a lot of the Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs, and a lot of them have been looking at ways to kind of do it themselves. So Goldman Sachs is no stranger to this as well. We will also be seeing probably a lot more banks get in line with this same position. They are holding a lot of Bitcoin on their own balance sheet through the ETFs, and it is a nice strengthening position for them. All right, let's hop over to some of these TradFi assets I'd want to take a look at before we dive into some of these alt requests. I see WMTX. All right, WMTX. Let me get that on the list there. Anything else anyone wants to take a look at, go ahead and drop that in the chat for me. I don't have a whole lot on the TradFi side, especially since the market is closed for TradFi today. Oh, there's Jesse. Jesse saying, my apologies for being late. I've smashed the like button. No worries there, Jesse. I'm glad you made it. I saw you subscribed to my channel. I appreciate that there. Hope you're having a great morning so far, and getting some of those degen moves made. I know you always following something, and I bet you have some alt requests that you'd like me to take a look at that might be doing something crazy here soon. So drop that in the chat for me, Jesse. I know you got a bunch of degen stuff you like to look at. Seeing some otters in the chat. Good morning to the otter gang. Jeffrey Stone Cipher dropping those otters. Crypto Billy dropping them as well. All right, I've been taking a look at gold. You know, gold's been doing quite well, and will continue to do quite well, especially as we will probably be seeing more tariffs coming out of the United States. So seeing a little retracement, like I've talked about, but to some key levels, was the move that was made this past weekend. We got back to the all-time high and then dropped off very quickly. When we're unable to hold this level, I wanted to see us hold at $2,920 before we really dropped off quite heavily. Lost that 236 very quickly, bounced off of a key area I was looking at 2,876 before we really got that move back above the 236. But we're looking at a bit more retracement to potentially head our way. This hourly chart has the MACD looking back down. You've got your prime oscillator also getting that curvature as our money flow is kind of faltering as well. Have you already looked at B3? I have not, Jesse. All right, I got that added to the list. Thank you there. All right, this prime oscillator getting a bit of some curvature, sitting in the green though, so still kind of bullish here on gold, but definitely looking like we might see a little more downside movement. You see a lot of buying pressure right above this 236, but that could easily run out as we just saw our money flow switching back to the red. looking like you're going to see a bit of some continued sell-off here as well. Buying pressure really slowed down quite a bit and is back to the red, pointing to the downside here. MACD getting that roll over on the bottom side. Prime oscillator just waiting for that more sideways movement before we really see that point back down. That 4 hour also looking like you got some potential room to continue running to the downside. MACD pointed to the downside, getting a slight bit of sideways movement here, but nothing too crazy that indicates a push back up to the top side of our Fibonacci retracement here that I pulled from the lows back here to our highs, our all-time highs here. I have been looking for a bit of a retracement here, especially since we've been running extremely heavily on gold to the top side. Prime oscillator sitting light red, money flow looking to come back in just briefly before you really get that continued downside. You did get a heavy divergence here that played out back at the top and really dropped us back down. Looking for that next little bouncing range, you do have a bit of an area back down here at 2,885. If we lose that 236 here at 2,892, if you lose all of this range though, you definitely have a bit of an area down here at about 2,868 where you might see that kind of bounce before that 382 comes into play at 2,861. I did talk about us seeing some lower areas there. That daily chart is kind of where I got that from. You can see that MACD looking to hit that cross of our indicator line here on the top side as our money flow on the daily is finally starting to roll over, waiting for that selling pressure to really come on in on our daily term time frame. We've been in a massive uptrend here, especially in the current time frames since December. So looking for a bit of a retrace is a healthy move on gold, especially as people have been scared to continue buying it. I was looking for that about 50% retracement, and that's going to be that 2,836 before we really see that bounce and continuation to the upside. All right, I was looking at silver as well this morning. It has been in a nice range, trying to get back to the top side of this trend line I've had drawn out for a long time here. Let's get that weekly drawn out so you can kind of see it runs all the way back here from 2024 in January. Did get some nice bounces off of it. When we drop below it, turned into some heavy resistance and are finally getting back to the top side. Let's zoom on in to that hourly view and see where we're sitting here. It is looking very similar to gold as these precious metals move quite in tandem. You've got that selling pressure rolling on over, looking to be some heavy selling pressure as your MACD is getting that curvature to cross back on that indicator line on the bottom side. So looking to try to confirm this as some strong support again. If you see very heavy selling pressure there, you do have that 236 sitting right below us, which might be that bouncing point where we see and then launch back up above it, really waiting for that money flow to come back in on silver though. 15-minute kind of looking a bit toppy here as you did break above that zero line. You've got that MACD looking quite heavy to the bottom side here. Got that prime oscillator as well, heavy red. You got that divergence just like you did on gold, played out quite heavily there, and your money flow is looking quite ugly here. Didn't make it back into that buying pressure range before we really started rolling back over here. So waiting for that money flow to come in just like the rest of the market. Got Lunar Beaches in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Getting that caffeine in. I know you're getting prepped for for the day. I don't know if you have the day off. It is a federal holiday, but that normally doesn't matter very much to us blue collar guys. All right, let's see. We've got WMTX and B3 requested. Any other alt requests we got there? Got B3 on base. Can definitely take a look at that on base. Scrolling through, not seeing any other alt requests. So I do have time for probably 2 other alt requests there. So if anyone else has any alts they let me to take a look at, go ahead and drop those in the chat for me. All right, let's take a look at WMTX. WMTX. Let's see. I'm not sure on which one. I've taken a look at it before. Looks like not this one. Let's zoom on out to the daily. Kind of see. Nope, not on this one. I'll just go with this one there. Sonic and Englayer. Drop the tickers for me on those. I see link requested, so we'll get that one added and then potentially take a look at Sonic and Englayer. I'm gonna need those tickers from you though, Jesse. All right, we've got World Mobile Token. It is one of those Cardano moves that Ada Ace loves so much here. We have been in a bit of a retrace here. Let's see if we can, I guess that's the beginning there. Got a nice little bounce, looking below the range here. From that 0 line, we've been sitting below for quite a while. So let's get that deleted. Kind of look at a fib extension since it's areas that we haven't been at in quite a while. And looking to kind of break out here. We do have us sitting right at that 236 on our extension. Let's zoom this on in to a lower term time frame. You can kind of see here we're at a very indecisive point with the MACD and the prime oscillator as well. You've got the MACD moving quite sideways here. You've got your prime oscillator switching back from red to green here on the daily. It just was green, just switched back to red, moving quite sideways here. Sonic, previously FTM. All right, and went to base now. Okay, I did not know that it went to base. That might be a good play there, especially since I know they are a great utility there. So gonna zoom this on in to the 4 hour, see what the next couple of days might bring our way. Looking like you might see a bit of a retrace just like the rest of the market. You've got some curvature here on your MACD. You've got that prime oscillator looking like it's gonna be losing a bit of momentum here. It just switched from light red to green, looking a bit sideways and like it might get a bit of some rollover here as we did come up to that 382 and found a bit of resistance there. That 236, it does look like a very strong area of support there. So getting another bounce off of 24.31 would be a nice move to see. You do have that 1 hour looking like it's also in that same position. Prime oscillator looking quite red here. Volume holding quite steady here in the green, which is a nice move to see, especially if we come back down to that 236. If we maintain buying pressure, would look for that top side move back up to about 27.30 to about 27.40 there. Let's get the horizontal ray. 27.37, where we saw a lot of resistance. That'd be that first area I would want to see turned into some support here on the hourly before we really get that pushback up to our 382, sitting at almost 30 cents there, 29.39. Definitely looking like you've got a bit more downside here for the day. MACD hitting that cross of our indicator line on the top side would need that volume to really come in and rescue. 15-minute looking like it's got some moves to the downside. You do have the MACD looking like it's moving a little more sideways here as it is breaking that zero line. Got a divergence that is looking like it might come to play here, looking to break this trend, this uptrend here, looking to create a lower low for the first time. So definitely looking like you might see a little more downside today, kind of like the rest of the market, looking for that key area of support before we really get that launch up to a resistance area and turn it back into some support. You had B3 requested. I know I've taken a look at it. I'm not sure which chart. I think it was this one. Yep, it was the Coinbase chart. All right, let's zoom this on out to a higher term time frame. See what we might be looking at for the rest of the week here. Kind of hard to really get some information, especially with it being so new here. But looking like that golden pocket is still a resistance area. Got Doge requested as well. Can definitely take a look at that very quickly before we wind the show on down and head over to Alex O Crypto. Looking to potentially break this golden pocket here, that 4 hour, just getting that green prime oscillator here, really waiting for money flow to kind of come in though. You do have that 1 hour looking like it's got some room to run to the upside. Unlike some of these other projects we've taken a look at, it is quite close to our resistance area, unlike some of these other projects. So you've got that MACD looking to cross our indicator line on the top side of things. Got your money flow coming back in on the hourly. You've got that prime oscillator sitting red, waiting for a reversal signal to kind of flash. So getting that curve back to the upside, but we need that money flow to kind of rescue. The golden pocket might be a little bit of a resistance area. That's that 010141, which might be a little bit of a resistance area before we try to reclaim about the bottom of these candles here as some support to launch above that golden pocket. That's going to be 009,516 to really see us turn into some support. That's where we rejected off of after we got that push back to the top side. So we're going to need to turn that into some support there. You have that 15-minute looking like it's a bit toppy here, kind of like the rest of the market, but its structure is way nicer. You are in a bit of an uptrend here as we've been trying to make this move back up to our resistance line. Thank you for dropping that, Alex O Crypto. Link in the chat, Jay Violet. I appreciate you. Got this first little area I would really look at turning into some support here before we really get that move back up to the golden pocket. That's about it for B3. Looking a little better than the rest of some of the market though. We did have a link requested. Let's hop over to link. All right, Chainlink been making some moves. I saw it pushed quite heavily to the upside, got back above an area I wanted to see us turn into some support to really continue that move to the upside. Looking to potentially turn that into some support here, but your shorter term time frame looking like it's got a bit of some downside on it before you really get that strong move up. Your MACD looking up above our indicator line here as we got our first green candle on our oscillator. That prime oscillator looking light red, got a hidden divergence which is looking to come to call, and that's where you've got a nice move to make it to the upside here on our higher term time frame. That 50% fib line would be that next area I would look at. That's going to be about $20.63. Would really need to turn this area into some support. You've got a bit of an area up here at about about $20 exactly, which we would need to turn into some support as well on the way up to that 50% fib line. Let's get that drawn a little bit thicker so you can see This is this first area I want to see us turn into some support. We've done some waffling around it, and that's looking like a bit toppy here on our 1 hour as your prime oscillators, getting some curvature. MACD still got plenty of room to run, volume coming back in. So definitely looking for a bit of some downside after a strong move to the upside here of about 7%. So seeing a little bit of a retrace from that to turn some key areas into some support would be a nice move to see. If you do end up losing that $19.42, you got a bit of an area down here at about $19.16, which could be an area where we launch off of to get back up to and continue that move to the upside and $20. All right, let's take a look at Doge. Been a while since I've taken a look at that. We got Doge making some moves in the market cap, so definitely something nice to see as it is one of those stronger memes. I'm not a meme fan, but Doge is a nice project there. It definitely has a bit of a shift in what it's trying to do, trying to become a utility and get away from some of that meme. So definitely might hold some Doge next cycle if it switches more into that utility sector. We've got Jesse Gulak saying good morning to All Set. Good morning to you, All Set. Jay Violet saying smash those likes, everyone. I appreciate you guys doing all that mod work in the chat. It's kind of hard to mod your own videos while you're live, so I appreciate all of you dropping those links in the chat, letting everyone know to smash the like. It helps me out quite greatly. We got Dogecoin looking like it's got some room to run to the top side here on the daily. Might need to turn some areas below us into some strong support though. You do have a bit of an area down here where we have equal candle bodies. Let's get that drawn a little bit thicker. That's going to be that 24 cents, 24,636, which would be a nice little double bottoming point to really get that launch back to the top side. Got some strong resistance up here with those candle bodies and some nice wicking action off of it at about 31 cents. That'd be these two areas I'd look for. If we can get back up to 31 cents, would probably see a little bit of resistance before we come back down to about that 28-cent range. Prime oscillator looking like some of the other projects we've taken a look at where it's got some sideways movement here, but your MACD looking a lot healthier than the rest of the market, looking for some more upside. Got that 1 hour looking quite nice for a move to the top side, and that 28.47 that I was talking about looking to turn into some support there. Prime oscillator looking green. Just switched to the green after we got a reversal signal. Got that prime oscillator looking heavily to the top side here. Would need that money flow to really come in quite strongly, kind of reverse this trend here. You've got lower lows, lower highs, looking to kind of break that here on the hourly. Would really see that 28 cents being that first resistance area before we kind of drag back down with how that higher term time frame was looking. Hourly looking like it's got a bit of room to run, but that would probably end up seeing some resistance. You got that 15-minute getting that bit of some rollover here on the prime oscillator. Looking quite green though. So created some equal bottoms, making some equal highs here, trying to break that on the way to the top side. MACD getting that cross of our zero line, so looking to really see that money flow come in and rescue things just like the rest of the market. So definitely looking like we're seeing a lot of similarities in a bunch of these projects, and money flow is going to be the big thing that'll rescue it. definitely looking for those bottom levels to be turned into some strong support before we get up to resistance areas and turn those into some strong support to continue that move to the upside. Everything's kind of been ranging, so get those moves where you can, find those key areas of support, kind of wait for that entry to be confirmed, and get up to those resistance areas, because we might continue some ranging for now. All right, I appreciate every one of you for showing up. We've got that morning market report at the new time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We got Trade Academy at 4 p.m. Eastern time, the Crypto Nightcap at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to tune in to the rest of them if you don't have that subscribed button hit and the notification bell to alert you every single time we go live. You might want to hit that one. It makes it a little easier to keep track of the 5 shows that we do daily. Might be seeing some new shows coming in quite soon as well. We'll got a little bit of a teaser last week, so tune into that morning market report to hear a little bit more about that. Other than that, I hope everyone wakes up, because today's going to be a good day.